guys.
Hi.
It's Barb.
Robin.
From Halfway to Sane, where we do true crime all the time. If you like listening to what we have to say, please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button and that notification bell so that you are notified each time that we do a video upload. It is a free way to help us out, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
So today we're going to talk about the Delphi murders, Abby and Libby, and Richard Allen, the man that was accused of the murders. Basically, all I'm going to do is read a few news articles, and then if you guys want to leave some comments down below as to what your thoughts are about everything that's going on, and so we can hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so first we're going to start out. For more than half a decade, the unsolved murders of two teens in Delphi haunted the tight-knit community of several thousand. The tide began to turn on Monday, which was the October 31st
of this year
of 2022, as authorities announced charges against Richard Allen, 50 years old, accused in the murders of 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams. "I believe in God of justice and righteousness," said Carroll County Sheriff Toby Leesenby. "Today I believe that same God has provided us with justice for Abby and Libby." Since the 2017 killings of Abby and Libby, the case has sparked national media attention and endless speculation. But there has been one constant through it all: the community and families of both girls who have been fierce advocates for justice while tirelessly working to honor their memory. Despite their grief, and maybe they found that in their grief, to never give up and never quit. I mean, they have built softball fields to bring awareness to their children, and it's just a beautiful thing that they are just so strong, said Delphi resident Audrey Wardrip. Both Abby and Libby were in 8th grade at Delphi Community Middle School and couldn't wait to plan their next 4 years in high school together. All of that was taken away on February 13th, 2017, when the girls never returned from a walk on Delphi's historic trails. "I remember my mom said she was on the search party to help find the girls," said Abby Brown, who is now a high schooler. The teen, who was only in elementary school at the time of the murders, said she remembers trying to comprehend the magnitude of the tragedy the day the girls' bodies were discovered. "We came home from school. It was Valentine's Day, and we didn't really understand. I just remember being scared because I didn't know what it meant," said Abby Brown. The teen and her sister, Maddie Brown, said they remember playing with Abby Williams as young children, and those memories they will cherish forever. "She was so funny. She liked how she fell off her deck one time. It was really funny," said Maddie. "She was always funny and did random stuff." Whether people in the community knew the girls personally or were complete strangers, there is no question their story impacted everyone it reached. The two girls had a slew of things in common, including that they played saxophone in the school band, played volleyball, and both loved art and photography.
That's cool.
Yep. They apparently were really, really close.
Too bad that was taken away from them.
Yep. "I can tell by all the pictures that we've seen together that they were really close and best friends," said Abby Brown. "Even as best friends who shared so much in common, each was unique in their own way, with different things they loved or dreamed of doing. Loved ones have shared that Abby enjoyed reading, being outdoors, and doing things like camping and swimming, and also loved animals. Libby, whose family has shared her knack for making others laugh, loved going on adventures with her older sister and trying new things. She played multiple school and recreational sports, including softball, soccer, volleyball, and swimming. In the school, there was like these posters remembering them, and we see it everywhere," said Maddie. "It's a reminder they were here." In additional memorabilia throughout the school, and girls would have attended, family members and the community. And I think something got cut off there, so I apologize. Last October, the Abby and Libby Memorial Park, a project years in the making, fully opened to the community that supported it from the beginning. Family members told CBS4 the park was created as a way to pay tribute to the girls' love for sports, adventure, and the arts, while also being a permanent reminder of their memory.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool? While there is now a permanent spot for people to come to as a community, over the years, family, friends, and community members, including classmates of the two teens, have held donation drives and found ways to pay it forward in their honor. There was Abby's Angels, which was like boxes that went to Africa. As both families awaited justice, they found a way to pay it forward. Delphi middle school students and community members packed up shoeboxes with school supplies and hygiene products to send overseas to children in need. This was just one way to pass on kindness that was shown when Abby and Libby were tragically taken away. This was something that was really important to Abby, and she loved this project, something we look forward to doing together, and I'm glad that we're still doing it in her honor, said Abby's mom.
Good job.
Throughout the year, several food drives were held in Delphi and other fundraisers to help those in need. I think that's awesome that they're still
Oh, yeah.
doing everything. You know, some people, they do it 1 or 2 years and then it kind of fades out. Community members also worked together to raise tens of thousands of dollars needed to add cameras and lights to the trails where the two girls were murdered. That is probably the most important thing that they could have done.
Mm-hmm.
It was a promise that authorities and family members made that they were going to find this individual. That promise came to fruition with the arrest and charges against Richard Allen. Community members hope this changes the course of justice for both family members and that their neighbors will keep the course in remembering two girls taken far too soon. I think it's good that we have donations and stuff, and I hope that they keep doing that. And here's a story off of a news station that I found that really gets under my skin a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys will have to definitely leave some comments down below and let us know what you think about this part. An Indiana bar owner has revealed that the suspect arrested in the Delphi murders of two teen girls, Abby and Libby, was a patron at his tavern who would often just sit inches away from the police sketch of the wanted killer. Isn't that sick?
Yes.
It was like he was, come on, get me. What are you going to do?
Here I am, right next to the
Right.
sketch.
It just gets under my skin. Bob Matlock, the owner of the now shuttered JC's Bar and Grill, said that Richard Matthew Allen and his wife were regular customers who would often talk about the 2017 killings of 14-year-old Libby and 13-year-old Abby. He would come in and we would always talk about the girls and everything, said Matlock. We would carry on conversations about it, and he would say, you know, it's such a tragedy. And we'd say we felt sorry for the families and all that. Allen, a 50-year-old married dad of two and a CVS technician, was taken into custody on Friday and was charged with 2 counts of murder for the mysterious slayings in Delphi. The girls' bodies were found near a hiking trail on February 14, 2017, a day after they went missing while going for a walk during a day off from school. Matlock, who closed his business in December 2021, said he considered Allen and his wife Kathy to be good friends of nearly 20 years. The couple came to the bar 3 to 4 times a week and chatted with other patrons, sometimes about the girls' unsolved murders. Matlock said some of Libby and Abby's relatives were also his patrons. They could have been sitting at the table like right next to them.
Yeah.
The Allens were members of JC's Bar Pool League and were active in the community. He stressed that there was never any indication that Richard, known to his friends as Rick, would be accused of a double murder. I just couldn't believe it when they said they arrested him. I said, well, that can't be the Rick we know. and then come to find out it was. There wouldn't have been any inkling to anyone that knew him that would expect that. That whole scenario, I mean, just picturing him sitting there next to a sketch of himself.
And possibly next to a family member.
Yeah. And would he have known that it was their family? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, if you hear any noise in the background, that's just our dogs playing. A haunting photo shared by Matlock showed a smiling Alan posing in front of a police poster with an artist's rendering of the Delphi murder suspect's face. The former bar owner said that he thought the sketch bore no resemblance to Alan. He also did not think a man's voice saying the words "down the hill" in a grainy video recovered from Libby's phone sounded like Alan's. Matlock described Alan as quiet and friendly. He said his sweet wife, Kathy, works as a veterinarian. Libby's grandmother, Becky, told reporters Monday that Alan had once processed photos for their family at the CVS and didn't charge them. So did he know that it was them?
Right.
Betty Cummings, a customer at the CVS where Alan worked, told the Indianapolis Star that she would occasionally see him while having lunch with friends at a nearby McDonald's. She described him as calm and mild-mannered. He just blended right in. You wouldn't even suspect the guy. CVS issued a statement in the wake of Alan's arrest, saying the company is shocked and saddened to learn that one of our store employees was arrested as a suspect in these crimes. We stand ready to cooperate with the police investigation in any way we can. We remain devastated by these murders, and our hearts go out to the German and Williams families. More than 5 years after Libby and Abby's killings, police still have not released how they were killed or what evidence they had in the case. During his initial court appearance on Friday, Alan pled not guilty to the murder counts and was ordered held without bond. But I since learned that changed, that there is like a $4 million cash bond now placed over him.
So that means how much did he get out with?
He can't. He has to pay the whole $400 million cash bond.
Phew.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
At least that's the way that I understood it when I read that. As Richard Allen of we know he's from Delphi. Indiana law appears to allow authorities relatively broad discretion and multiple ways to seal criminal case files. Those mechanisms are worth noting given the dearth of publicity available information in the case. So this is basically going over why. I don't know if any of you guys watched the
previous video we did.
No, if you watched the with the police, the
press conference.
Yeah, the press. I don't know if any of you watched the press conference where everybody was expecting answers as to, you know, what was he going to be charged with? How were the girls killed? Like everybody was expecting information, and there was zero information given. Only thing that anybody was told was that he was being held on 2 counts of murder. So everybody was wondering why no information was given, and they did explain that all of that information was sealed right now. It was being held from the public. There is another press conference later this month to see if the judge will allow those to be released. Okay? But this goes over a little bit of the law as to why certain things can be sealed or should be sealed. And I'm not going to read them all because I'm going to be honest with you. There's just pages. I should have taken these out earlier. But They are literally, I think we would bore you guys to death, but I'm going to read the first page. Okay. So, Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McLeland said Monday that both a probable cause document and a charging information remain sealed and likely would remain so for at least a month. McLeland admitted that his request to keep the file sealed was unusual. The nature of this case has some extra scrutiny with it. There will be a public hearing on whether or not those records are going to remain sealed. It's about protecting the integrity of this case. I want to have an opportunity at some point to have an opportunity in court to explain the evidence and for that not to be tarnished or tainted.
Mm-hmm.
McLeland didn't fully explain how or why court records may remain sealed in Indiana, but state court administrative rules fill in some of those blanks. The task of understanding the machinery at play in Allen's case, however, is shrouded in mystery. McLeland's office has not responded to very narrow requests by Law and Crime for a citation to the particular rule employed to seal the records, and the clerk of court's office said it has literally nothing on the matter. So they're just really not wanting to give any explanation. Generally speaking, all persons have access to Indiana court records under the relevant rules, and an official comment contained within the rule states that the objective of the rule is to provide maximum public accessibility. However, several exceptions appear in Rule 5 and Rule 6 under Indiana's access to public records. Now, this it's like literally 5 pages long. It's broken down into pieces. But I'll just read you the first little part of Rule 5. Rule 5 of Indiana's Rules of Court contains several mechanisms for sealing or closing records. Most are mundane, usual, and self-explanatory. For instance, Social Security and bank account numbers, the names of child witnesses, and visual depictions of sexual offenses are not publicly available. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to read that one more time. Bank account numbers, the names of child witnesses, and visual depictions of sexual offenses are not publicly available. Materials connected to a mental health review of a defendant are also closed records, but the Delphi murder case likely has not reached that stage. So I'm not going to go down into all these parts, but...
So it's reached the one stage, but it hasn't reached the mental stage.
Well,
That's
kind of how it, yeah. Part of Rule 6, the very part of Rule 6. And if you guys want to look these up, feel free to go ahead and look them up, because like I said, it's several pages long. But I'm just going to read the first parts, which I think is the most important parts of each rule. Okay? So Rule 6, exceptions. Another rule, and likely the one being followed in the Allen case, allows the sealing of court records in extraordinary circumstances. The core of that rule reads as follows. In extraordinary circumstances, a court record that otherwise would be publicly accessible may be excluded from public access by a court having jurisdiction over the record. A verified written request to prohibit public access to a court record may be made to any person affected by the release of the court record. The request shall demonstrate that the public interest will be substantially served by prohibiting access. Access or dissemination of the court record will create a significant risk of substantial harm to the requester, other persons, or the general public. So I read that as if the information was released it's basically going to harm the case.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you guys can read something different into that. I don't know, but that's kind of how I take it. And this goes on to, there's 3 more pages after that, and it's just breaking every little thing down. But they basically don't want the case tarnished, and that's why they don't want to release the records. And I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, his what you call it, hearing, I guess, to what the jail sentence. Okay, I guess that is in December, but the hearing itself, the trial, I don't know if it's the trial, isn't until March. But if they release the information before that March hearing, that just can tarnish everything. Like, the defense can just take that information and like tear it apart.
Well, yeah, and also, you know, if there's witnesses or whatever, they could, you know, they're going to be like, have you read up on this case? You know, it's just like jury selection.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so this investigation is far from complete, and we will not jeopardize its integrity by releasing or discussing documents or information before the appropriate time. Remember, we're not done. The state's top cop said yet again while imploring the public to continue to share relevant tips. So please, if you know anything at all, you want to call that in. Or if you think you know anything at all, or you think you may have witnessed something if you were there in that area, whatever, they are still accepting tips to the case. The sheriff's comments echo those of other departments who have from time to time claimed that an arrest delivers justice. The latter, by all respectable measures of due process, is delivered by a neutral jury of one's peers and not by an arrest. Carroll County Prosecutor McLeland did not immediately correct the sheriff, but implored several times that Allen was presumed innocent unless and until a jury convicts him. Such admonishments are required under the aforementioned rules of professional conduct, and McLeland was careful to recite them several times so as not to secure a visit from disciplinary authorities. McLeland said a judge found probable cause for Allen's arrest, but repeated that the investigation was ongoing and asked for tips about any other person. Taken as a whole, the lack of detail has roiled at least a few attorneys in Indiana who agreed that the process was rare. It also raised questions about whether another suspect or suspects may be at large. Allen is scheduled for a pre-trial hearing on January 13th. I thought that was December. It's January 13th at 9 a.m. And a jury trial is currently scheduled to commence on the morning of March 20th. Okay.
Wow.
It is unclear if Allen has a defense attorney because the case file remains sealed. I would hope that this man has an attorney by now, but who knows? But some additional information about Richard. Back on June 18th, 2015, which was 2 years before the murder, the police were called to his residence for a domestic incident where his wife stated at the time that he was drunk and that she would take him to a nearby hospital to be evaluated. So apparently, this man has a drinking problem.
What's he being evaluated for?
I don't know. Mental health, maybe?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much everything that I've come across. Again,
I could speculate so much
Well,
off
I
of
think
just what you read.
I know we all could.
And I'm keeping my mouth closed.
No, that's what this channel is for.
Well, the last sentence, the last little paragraph or whatever you read, she took him to the hospital to be checked out. Okay, he was drunk. So, to me, if he's drunk and she's taken him to the hospital to be observed, he had a weapon and was going to harm himself.
Maybe, maybe not.
Possibly. That's one aspect.
Maybe he was just going nuts.
That.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's why she wanted to have him checked out for a mental evaluation. I mean, it could have been all of the above.
If you're doing this to anybody, children, adults, anybody, you need a mental evaluation.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure he's getting one in there. And I hope they don't come up with the freaking insanity plea, because that's just going to piss me off. Because there's no way this man was insane at the time. He very clearly did what he did. He knew what he was doing when he ordered those girls down the hill.
Yeah,
that's premeditation right there.
Yeah, there was no hurry up, get down the hill, hurry up, hurry up, hurry. You know, there was no rushing. Yeah. It was like walk down the hill.
Yeah, that's premeditation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure he was within his right mind when he was doing whatever the freaking heck he did. I don't want to know what he did.
No.
To be honest with you.
I do and I don't.
Right. I mean, and of course there's was he alone? Was there somebody else waiting down the hill? How did, if there wasn't anybody down the hill, how did he overtake both girls at the same time?
I think
he had chloroform? Maybe.
You know who I thought he was with.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about that. We don't want to bring that up yet.
No, we're just I'm keeping that to myself because I don't want to read anything in anything.
Yep. Guys, please leave your comments down below. Please let us know what you think, how you feel about the case. Do you know anything? Anything.
Yeah.
Leave your comments down below. And
if you have an objection to what we're stating,
right,
let us know. Maybe we can come back on and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We can always do a follow-up video. Absolutely.
Or if you found something else out that we don't have information,
yeah,
we'll come back on and
shoot us that
update it.
Shoot us that info and we'll do a follow-up video on that for sure. So, but that's all we have to state right now. So, we're going to get going.
Peace out.